Do you remember what childhood used to feel like? Riding bikes until the street lights came on, coming home with scraped knees and actually hanging out with friends face to face. We were free. No one was tracking us, and no one was rating our lives with likes and comments. Now, look around your neighborhood today. The playgrounds are empty. The streets are quiet. Where did everyone go? They migrated. They moved to a different world, a world behind a black glass screen. Something strange happened around 2012. Suddenly, rates of anxiety, depression, and loneliness skyrocketed among American teens. It wasn't a coincidence. It was a rewiring of humanity. Today, we are diving into the most important book in America right now, The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. This isn't just a story about smartphones. It is a story about how we accidentally ended play-based childhood and replaced it with phone-based childhood. So, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, grab a coffee, and let's see if we can undo the damage. Welcome to the channel. Let's get into it. Let's travel back in time for a moment. Not too far back, just to the year 2009. Can you picture it? The world was different then. It felt quieter. If you wanted to see your friends, you had to knock on their door. If you wanted to make plans, you called them on a landline or sent a clumsy text message on a flip phone. And when you were done, you closed the phone, put it in your pocket, and you were back in the real world. If you were bored in 2009, you just stared out the window. You daydreamed. You let your mind wander. But then, the trap snapped shut. Between the years 2010 and 2015, humanity underwent the fastest and most profound behavioral change in our history. Jonathan Haidt, the author of The Anxious Generation, calls this specific window of time the Great Rewiring. It wasn't an explosion. It was a slow, creeping fog that swallowed an entire generation before we even realized what was happening. Let's break down exactly how this happened, year by year, because the details are terrifying. It started innocently enough. In June 2010, the iPhone 4 was released. This was the first popular phone with a front-facing camera. Before this moment, cameras were for taking pictures of the world, sunsets, friends, mountains. But suddenly, the camera was pointed back at us. This was the birth of the selfie era. For the first time in history, teenagers were expected to curate a digital image of themselves every single day. Life stopped being about living and started being about performing. Then came October 2010. Instagram was launched. At first, it was just cool filters, but soon it became a marketplace for social validation. By 2011 and 2012, something critical changed in the technology itself. We got high-speed internet on our phones, and we got push notifications. Suddenly, the internet wasn't something you went to by sitting at a desk. The internet was something that lived in your pocket, buzzing against your leg, interrupting your thoughts, demanding your attention 24 hours a day. Haidt points to the graphs, and they are undeniable. If you look at the mental health statistics for teenagers in America, the UK, and Canada, the lines are flat and stable for years. But right around 2012, the lines shoot up vertically, like a hockey stick. Anxiety up 134%, depression up 106%, hospital admissions for self-harm skyrocket. Why 2012? That was the tipping point. That was the year when more than 50% of Americans owned a smartphone. It was the year Facebook acquired Instagram and optimized the algorithms for maximum engagement. This is where the story gets dark. The companies behind these apps, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, they realize that the human brain has a weakness. We crave validation. We are social creatures who are terrified of being left out. So, they engineered their apps to exploit this weakness. They created the like button, the share count, and the infinite scroll. Think about the infinite scroll for a second. Before this, web pages had a bottom. You would read, reach the end, and stop. But social media feeds became bottomless. There is no stopping cue. The brain never gets a signal to rest. It keeps searching for the next hit of dopamine, the next funny video, the next outrage. We took the playful, awkward, messy childhood that humans have known for thousands of years, and we deleted it. We replaced play-based childhood with phone-based childhood. In a play-based childhood, kids learn by falling down. They learn by negotiating rules with other kids in the park. They learn resilience by getting scraped knees and dealing with boredom. In a phone-based childhood, the body is safe in a bedroom, but the mind is on a battlefield. Imagine a 13-year-old girl in 2014. She is sitting alone in her room at midnight. Her parents think she is safe, but on her screen, she is being excluded from a group chat. She is seeing photos of a party she wasn't invited to. She is comparing her body to a filtered, photoshopped influencer. She is counting her likes and feeling her self-worth drop with every passing minute. She is physically safe, but emotionally, she is being destroyed. And for boys, the rewiring was different but equally damaging. They retreated from the real world into immersive video games and pornography. They stopped striving for real-world competence like learning to drive, getting a job, or asking someone on a date, because the virtual world was easier, safer, and more rewarding. By 2015, the transformation was complete. The Gen Z generation became the first generation in history to go through puberty with a supercomputer in their hands. They sleep less, they trust each other less, they are more fragile, and they are profoundly lonely. We thought we were giving them a tool to connect with the world. Instead, we gave them a portal that disconnected them from themselves. This great rewiring didn't happen by accident. It was a business model. Our attention was the product, and our children's mental health was the cost. But here's the most important question. Is the damage permanent, or can we reverse the rewiring? To answer that, we first need to understand exactly what this phone-based life steals from us every single day.
We need to talk about the single most catastrophic mistake of modern parenting. Jonathan Haidt calls it the Great Paradox. It is a mistake so obvious, yet so invisible, that we sleepwalked right into it. Here is the paradox. We started overprotecting children in the real world while simultaneously underprotecting them in the virtual world. Let that sink in. Think about how we treat physical safety today. We have become obsessed. In the 1980s or 90s, if you were 8 years old, you could walk to the store alone. You could ride your bike across town. You could disappear into the woods for hours, and nobody panicked. But today, the parks are empty. We don't let children do anything alone. We are terrified of stranger danger, even though the statistics show that kidnapping is incredibly rare, and the world is actually safer now than it was 30 years ago. We track our kids with GPS apps like they are FedEx packages. We solve their conflicts for them. We stop them from climbing trees because they might fall. We created a culture of safetyism. We decided that a child should never experience pain, never experience risk, and never feel uncomfortable. And this was a disaster. Why? Because human beings are what Nassim Taleb calls anti-fragile. Just like your immune system needs germs to get stronger, a child's brain needs risk to develop resilience. When a child falls off a bike, they learn physics. When they get into a fight with a friend and resolve it without an adult, they learn diplomacy. When they get lost, they learn navigation and courage. By removing all the risk from the real world, we didn't make them safe, we made them fragile. We denied them the vaccine of small hardships that prepares them for the big hardships of life. But here is where the story turns into a horror movie. At the exact same moment that we were locking our kids inside their bedrooms to keep them safe from the real world, we opened a portal to hell right in their pockets. We handed them the unfiltered internet. We wouldn't let a 10-year-old walk into a bar full of drunk strangers alone at midnight. That would be insanity, right? But we let them walk into Instagram, TikTok, Discord, and Omegle, places filled with millions of strangers, sexual predators, bullies, hardcore pornography, and violent content, with zero supervision. We check their Halloween candy for poison, but we give them a device that poisons their mind with algorithmically generated self-hatred for 5 hours a day. This is the shift from a play-based childhood to a phone-based childhood. And the difference is crucial. In a play-based childhood, communication is synchronous. It happens in real time. You look someone in the eye, you hear their tone. If you say something mean, they see them cry, and your brain releases chemicals that make you feel guilty. That is how we learn empathy. But in a phone-based childhood, communication is asynchronous. It is just text on a glass screen. It is disembodied. You can destroy someone's reputation with a comment and you feel nothing. You can be bullied by 1,000 people at once while lying in your bed. Haidt argues that the phone is not just a tool, it is an experience blocker. It blocks sleep, it blocks exercise, it blocks the awkward, boring, beautiful moments where creativity happens. We have traded the rich 3D experience of the real world for a flat, curated, stressful simulation. And the result? We have raised a generation that is terrified of making a simple phone call, a generation that is anxious about ordering food at a restaurant, a generation that is intellectually brilliant but socially paralyzed. We tried to protect them from everything, and in doing so, we exposed them to the one thing that could actually break them. So we know the Great Rewiring happened around 2012. We know we traded safety for anxiety, but what exactly is the phone doing to the brain? Why are these devices so toxic? Jonathan Haidt identifies the 4 foundational harms. These are the 4 silent killers of mental health. Harm number 1, sleep deprivation. This is the most critical one. Sleep is when the brain washes itself. It is when we process emotions and repair our cells. But the smartphone is the enemy of sleep. The blue light tricks the brain into thinking it is daytime, blocking melatonin. The endless notifications keep the nervous system in a state of high alert. Teenagers today are sleeping less than any generation in history. They are chronically exhausted. And a tired brain is a fragile brain. A tired brain cannot regulate emotions. It spirals into anxiety over the smallest things. Harm number 2, social deprivation. Economists call this opportunity cost. Every hour spent on a screen is an hour not spent doing something else. If a teenager spends 7 to 9 hours a day on their phone, which is the current average, that is 9 hours they are not spending with friends, not playing sports, not looking at nature, and not learning to read facial expressions. We are social animals. We need physical presence like we need oxygen. When you replace 9 hours of oxygen with a digital simulation, the soul starts to suffocate. Harm number 3, attention fragmentation. Have you noticed that it is harder to read a book now than it was 10 years ago? Have you noticed that you can't watch a movie without checking your phone? That is attention fragmentation. The apps are designed to interrupt you. They're designed to break your flow state every few minutes. A constant stream of 15-second videos has retrained the human brain to have the attention span of a goldfish. We are losing the ability to think deeply, to solve complex problems, and to sit with our own thoughts. And finally, harm number 4, addiction. This is not a metaphor. These companies hired the best psychologists in the world to hack your dopamine system. They use what is called a variable reward schedule. It is the exact same psychology used in slot machines in Las Vegas. You pull the lever, refresh the feed, and you wait. Will you get a reward, a like, a funny video, or nothing? That uncertainty releases dopamine. It keeps you pulling the lever again and again, like a lab rat pressing a button for sugar. We are not just users of these apps, we are the product, and our addiction is their profit. So, is it game over? Have we lost an entire generation to the algorithm? Jonathan Haidt says no, we can fix this, but we need a revolution. We need to stop waiting for the tech companies to save us. They won't. We have to save ourselves. Here is the battle plan to reclaim our humanity. Rule number 1, no smartphones before high school. Give your kids a flip phone. Let them call you, let them text you, but do not give them a portal to the entire internet in their pocket until they are 14. Rule number 2, no social media before 16. Let their brains develop.
Let them figure out who they are in the real world before they're judged and rated by millions of strangers online. Rule number 3, phone-free schools. Not in the backpack, locked away. When the phone disappears, focus returns, grades go up, and kids actually look at each other and talk. And rule number 4, more freedom, less fear. Stop overprotecting them in the real world. Let them play outside. Let them take risks. Let them be human. We are standing at a crossroads. We can continue to be zombies scrolling through life, or we can wake up. And that is exactly why you are here. This channel, Yin Mind, is dedicated to waking you up. We are not just summarizing books, we are decoding the matrix. In the coming weeks, we are dropping massive videos on dark psychology, elite self-improvement, and the hidden secrets of the human mind that they don't want you to know. If you want to master your reality, you are in the right place. So smash that subscribe button for Yin Mind right now. Turn on notifications. Do not miss what is coming next. Reclaim your focus. Master your mind. I will see you in the next video.